Hey friends, welcome to Lotus in the Light. My name is Jennifer. Sorry, I was grabbing stone. My name's Jennifer. Thank you for joining. Okay, it's funny. I spent a lot of time in meditation this morning, the last 2 days actually. But this morning, like spirit just um filled me after my quiet time, my quiet meditation time. I was just filled, overflowing with all these different ideas and solutions and considerations and like all these things. And I thought, man, any of these would be a great message for Lotus of the Light. Um, so before I started, because sometimes I'm a little bit slower and I didn't want to take the time on this video, uh, because some people are like decades into this connection with spirit, and so they can pick up on spirit's messages and hear spirit's communication like that. Mine are still unfolding and still, yeah, I'll just say mine are still developing. I'm still in the process of remembering those gifts, and so they are a little slower and squeakier than for others. So again, so I just took some time, a few minutes before the session, to tap in and say, Spirit, what message do you want me to bring forth in this video? Help me to kind of narrow it down from all these other ideas and try to get out of my head into my heart and just um, listen. And so I have been given a topic about about how to quiet the um, thoughts that we focus on that keep us in a state of worry and angst. And more specifically, I think the way Spirit wanted me to pose it is, how do we resist those thoughts that are unhealthy for us? How do we resist the thoughts um, that keep us in a perpetual state, a kind of a perpetual prison, if you will, or a perpetual state of worry or anxiety? How do we resist those thoughts? And the question or the answer is, we don't. Okay, we don't. And so that's going to be, look, I just fast forwarded all the way to the end. You can stop the video right now. Just kidding. So we're going to talk about what that looks like is what we're going to do. So let's connect three-way. Let's join with me and opening up to spirit. So we're going to take a deep breath. Relax your muscles. Open up your heart. Visualize it blooming like a flower, inviting spirit in and inviting spirit out as spirit is within. So allowing in the deep, divine, beautiful messages and allowing them to flow forth from within us so that we can hear them. So just visualize that light. I'm going to say a golden light today, the golden light to come forth from within, sharing truth with us. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Um, oh, I said golden, and that's the stone I picked up. So, little I think some sacral chakra going on there. Not sacral, solar plexus. Okay. All right, let's just open with a card. So the reason that I want to talk about this, not the reason, but Spirit prompted me to talk about this. Um, and I'm just going to use some examples of my own life. I think I talked a little bit about my kids and how my oldest child in particular kind of got the roughest of my parenting. um, and how it got better over time. Like I learned how to kind of let go and let God over time with him and with my other children, um, and kind of release a lot of that worry. I would literally would have called myself a worry wart. I was a control freak to the nth degree, and I let go of a lot of that over my Christian journey. Very blessed to kind of learn some lessons through that faith system to help me release a lot of that. What I've discovered in this last year is while I released a big chunk, there was still much, much, much more that I was clinging to, that I was controlling. They weren't as obvious, maybe. But I'll use the example of children because I've been there, done that. So let's talk about, for example, um, sometimes we want to worry about our kids as they gain independence and they're starting to go out into the world and do things without you. They're no longer 5 or 6, where everything they do and every place they go, they're with you, and you're able to really keep an eye on them, keep a hold of them, keep tabs on them, whatever. Now all of a sudden you've got, say, teenagers who are going to friends' houses without you, who are going to school. Well, I guess they technically all go to school without you, but might be driving to school, might be going out after school and on the weekends with their friends to places. I live near an amusement park called Kings Island, so was a big part of our summers and things like that. All of these things that give you an opportunity to start dwelling on and worrying about, what are they doing? Are they getting into trouble? Are they with kids that I think are trustworthy? Are they with kids that are going to tempt them to do things they shouldn't do? Are they going to make a choice or a decision that could alter the rest of their life, that could get them killed, that could get them harmed, that could end up with teen pregnancy, which was a pattern in my family, that could, all these things. So, like for me, breaking the pattern of teen pregnancy was huge for me. My mom was 15 when she had me, 14 when she got pregnant. I was 16 when I got pregnant and 17 when I had my oldest son. So, like, those were the worries. Those were the things that I was thinking about, right? Um, and you can be really overcome with that. So the question is, um, what benefit does that worry have? Is it serving you? Is it remedying the things that you're worrying about? Is worry creating the solution to protect your child from that, or to protect whatever it is you're worrying about? Um, and the answer is no. Worry doesn't do any of those things. And for me, again, being rooted in Christianity, there's plenty of scriptures that talk about, do not worry, but take your prayers with thanksgiving and give them to the Lord, right? So that's where I learned to start releasing some of that. Um, but still very, it's very understandable. I totally can empathize with feeling like you need to control and protect. And, that's how we get helicopter parents, right? They're hovering, hovering. Okay, so let's just do a card to kind of get sorry, I'm just thinking. Okay, I'm going to do wild reflections just to kind of gauge where we're at with this. Because what I really want to talk about is there's kind of 3 paths we can take when there's something going on in our lives that's giving us concern and a reason, we think reason to worry, okay? Um, there's 3 paths we can take, and I want to talk about each of those paths. But first, let's hear, um, oh, there it is. Let's hear from Spirit. Okay. This is the perfect card. Okay. It's um it's the devil. It's the devil card. Okay, now some of you that are of faith that already struggle with the fact that I'm using cards, of Christian faith, I should say, that already struggle with the fact that I use cards might be saying, this is bad, this is wrong. Pause a minute. It is not. This is beautiful, beautiful energy, and I'll tell you why. Um, so what what you need to realize here, and that's what this whole message is going to be about. So what I would say is evil, or the devil's not a person. The devil is a state of mind. The devil is a negative, lower vibrational energy that we're allowing to consume our thoughts. Okay. Just like Christ is also a state of mind, is a consciousness that's a higher vibrational level, right? That doesn't feed into the negative emotions of the ego, of the mind. Okay. So I just want you to understand the devil here are those negative, low vibrational thoughts that keep you tied up and prisoner. But here's the trick to this. Okay. You see, they're blindfolded and they're imprisoned by these ropes that are around them. But look at their hands. Their hands are not bound. They can free themselves, and you can free yourself of worry, of those thoughts that are consuming you, that are keeping you separate from joy, that are keeping you separate from your authentic self. Okay, they're keeping you bound up. So what's happening is they're allowing the thoughts of their ego. Now remember, ego is not the enemy. Ego is not the devil. Okay, your flesh is not the devil. But ego is limited in its understanding of reality. Ego only understands the 3D physical reality, but doesn't understand that you have a soul, that you have a spirit, that you have a connection to God that gives you all the protection, all the information and direction and guidance that you need. You just have to open your eyes to it. See, their eyes are blind. They're blind right now, right? I was blind, but now I see. Guess what? Their hands are free. Take the blindfold off. They can free themselves. And that's what Christ consciousness calls us to do. That's what Jesus came here to demonstrate for us, is how to free ourselves through his divine guidance. Okay. And it is an internal decision to say, thank you, ego, for bringing to my attention that this is something that could be dangerous for my child, or that there's things out there that could be dangerous for my child. That is a great awareness. Now I'm going to tap into my soul, and I'm going to tap into spirit. I'm going to tap into God, and I'm going to let God reveal to me what I should do about that. Maybe it's a conversation with your child about the risks of that thing. Maybe spirit will give you a knowing of, hey, you probably shouldn't let them go to this party, this particular party. Not a fear. It's different. There's a difference between operating in fear. That's a low vibration. That's where worry comes from. Not a fear, a knowing that this party's okay. Your child's going to be fine. Oh, don't go here. Okay. That peace and calm and knowing comes from an open channel to spirit. Okay. And that spirit's always here. Spirit resides here. It's opening the channel. I talked about the hose the other day in a different video, where the water's always there. You just gotta, if you're crimping the if you're crimping the flow, you're not going to get any. So let go. And when we worry, that's exactly what we're doing. Worry is just a particular emotion that of fear that we're cutting off. And oh my gosh, what am I gonna? You can feel it. It tenses in your body. Resist. Oh, I say resist. We do not want to resist worry. We have to deal with it, but we deal with it by letting that energy flow. And that is what will allow spirit to give us the guidance that we need. Okay, so we'll talk about the 3 ways. I am so thankful for this card. This is a beautiful card to say that the collective that's watching this right now is bound. You are bound by these beliefs and ideas that keep repeating over and over and over in your head. And it's time to let those ideas go and let them be transmuted. There's an alchemy that happens. Think about when you mix, like a chemist, you have your chemistry set, you mix, what is it, baking soda and vinegar and all these bubbles, something happens, right? Something new is created out of that. Same thing. Take the energy of this worry, open it up to spirit, and let spirit transmute that into something different. Okay, into something healthy and beautiful, into a deeper connection, into a knowing, into a better understanding. That's the direction we're being guided in. Okay, I'm going to set this down. Wow, what a beautiful card. And I want to point out that this card is a 15, which breaks down to a 6. So 6 is, that's the beauty of this card. It's like you have been wrestling with this conflict of what you believe, of what you know about this. And now 6 is where you start finding the solutions. But guess what? The solutions are not in the worry. They're not in the angst. They're not, that's a low vibration. Solutions don't live there. Solutions live up here. Okay. So as we increase our frequency, as we move from negative to positive flow, as we open and allow spirit in to penetrate our thoughts, and we open ourselves up to our heart space, where spirit lives, that's where the solutions come. That's where the revelations come. That's where the knowing comes, the peace comes, all of that. Okay. So you're getting there. You're that, I mean, that this is beautiful. Now you know you can open your eyes. You can take the blindfold off. You're being empowered in this moment through this message to take the blindfold off. So let's talk specifically about the 3 ways we can respond to the worry. Okay. We can, and this is why I say the goal is not to resist the worry. So one option is to resist it and say, I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to block it. I'm not going to think about it. Don't think about it. I got to think about something else. And you start distracting yourself. And guess what that does? That leads to a life where you continually busy yourself so that you don't think about the things that you don't want to think about. And those things could be things that you're worrying about, like your children's safety or your family's safety or your job, or but it also could be things that you don't want to think about, like that you've been taught you should be ashamed of, like your maybe there's an addiction, maybe there's a maybe you're having thoughts that you've been told are wrong in some way. Maybe it's about your sexuality, maybe it's about, maybe it's about your gender identity, maybe it's about who knows, maybe you're starting to have different thoughts that differ from your family's political persuasion, and you feel like, oh, I can't go there because I don't want to make people mad. You know what I mean? I don't want to disrupt the peace or whatever. I'm just, I don't know why I even gave that example, so perhaps that resonates for somebody. But whatever it is that you're resisting, you don't want to think about. Resistance just creates the tension, which just snips the hose and doesn't allow spirit to inform, doesn't allow spirit to guide. Okay. So resistance is a way that feels very lonely. You will feel lonely and isolated in that resistance um, because you don't have the connection that you want, the open connection that you want with spirit. And so it will feel lonely. Okay. Now, the reason we tend to resist is because there's some fear about letting go of that, whatever that issue is. Somehow we think our worry brings resolution, but it doesn't. Please hear me. Your worry does not bring solution. Okay. And I did a message a few weeks ago on worry. So the fact that we're circling back to this says this is still a big, big, big challenge for whoever's watching these videos. Okay. Um, so we can resist, we can let go, let spirit flow, let spirit guide us. Let spirit offer us the wisdom and knowledge of their collective experience, which means the experience of humanity, right? The experience of our ancestors, this experience of our own past lives, of our soul. If you believe in that, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. The experience of nature, the experience of God, the divine, right? Of Jesus, of all the ascended masters. We can tap into all that wisdom, okay? If we open ourselves up. And that's what brings a clarity. Clarity. Letting go of the worry will actually bring clarity if we can release it. If we can recognize, thank you for showing me that, like, don't resist or be angry. Like, this is a bad feeling I shouldn't have. No, it's a message that's telling you, hey, there's something going on here. This worry is a negative energy. What's going on? Let's tease this out a little bit, okay? Um, and I'm just seeing a beautiful butterfly out the window, a beautiful yellow butterfly. Transformation, change. It's time for change. That's what's happening right now. Okay. And then the third option, if we don't resist and we don't open ourselves up to spirit for change, is to just sink into the worry. And that's what most of us do. We just sink in. It just feels comfortable for many of us to be in a state of worry, which creates, honestly, chaos in our lives. Um, and that state of worry also, that state of mind also doesn't feel good. So a lot of times that will lead to depression, anxiety. A lot of times well, that's when we try to resist. I was going to say it ultimately brings us into that place of like busying ourselves so we're not thinking about it, right? But if we really sink into it, it's not a great space to be in, and especially because it's not informed. Sinking into worry is allowing the child in you, because your ego doesn't have the wisdom of your soul. So it's like allowing the child in the parent-child situation to tell you what reality is. Right. And that doesn't make any sense, does it? Okay. So let's close out this message. I believe we're going to go spirit animal oracle for our final guidance. I just love the spirit animal oracle. I'm so connected to nature right now, and in a way that I've never been in my entire life, in this life, I should say. And I'm finding it again is like, it's so beautiful. Oh, there it is. Hawk spirit. Let spirit be your guide. Wow, what a beautiful message. Spirit is telling you it's time for change. I believe that's why that butterfly is still there. It is big and beautiful, and it's yellow and black. Okay, this is significant. I have been seeing yellow butterflies everywhere the last like 2 weeks. And prior to that, most of the ones I was seeing were orange and black. So when I started recognizing that, wow, I'm seeing all these yellow and black um, uh, butterflies, there's a message in that for me. Yellow is the color of solar plexus. It's the color of action. It's the color of something uh, burning a flame of passion within you that you cannot ignore and you have to act on. And that's called divine, divinely inspired action, taking divinely. And this is what Spirit's doing. Spirit's saying it's time for change. Okay, this is a 6. Um, and it's time for change. And that change is going to come through conflict, which is why this is another number 5. Okay. So Hawk spirit is a number 5. You're going to continue to experience conflict so that you can exercise this new muscle of releasing the worry. Okay. When you overcome it, then you will stop finding things to worry about, okay? Until you overcome it, spirit will continue to number 5 you and give you things to worry about because you're ready for it. If you're watching this message, it's because spirit wants you to know, I wouldn't give this to you right now if you weren't ready for it. You are ready to take the blindfold off and find a new way, okay? And the way to do it is through Hawk Spirit, which is trusting and letting Spirit guide you. So if you think about, I mean, what a beautiful, majestic bird. Its wingspan is huge. I mean, it can travel miles and miles and it can see for miles and miles. It has this perspective that's so different than this perspective. See, this perspective is blind. This perspective sees it all. This hawk spirit, it doesn't have an agenda. It doesn't have a schedule to keep. It just goes where it wants to go, where spirit guides it to go. Spirit is who guides it to food. Spirit is who guides it to where to build its nest and make its home and um, lay its eggs and protect its eggs. Okay, I'm going to read Hawk Spirit. Ooh, where's my book? Okay, here it is. 32. 32. Hawk spirit. Let spirit be your guide. Flying high above the landscape, the hawk sees both the big picture and the small details. Okay, this is important because we think, oh, spirit, sometimes we get in our own head that I know best because I know all the details, right? I know who my child is hanging out with. That can and can't be trusted, or I know who, where they're going and what's potential there. But you know what? So does spirit. Spirit knows all the details. Okay. But spirit also knows the big picture. Okay. And I'm going to give one more example of why this, actually, I'm not. Sorry. I just want to keep this succinct. So I'm not going to give this example. It would be another good example, but it's not necessary. Um, so they see both the big picture and the small details, observes the rain and the pond, as well as the cloud, and does not miss anything. When Hawk Spirit arrives, you are called to pay close attention to messages from Spirit that can appear anywhere in any form. Listen to your intuition and keep your eyes open for synchronicities, the meaningful coincidences. Hawk Spirit asks you not to dismiss the signs that Spirit is sending you. Lately, you've been hearing the same word or song or coming across the same symbol here, there, and in the strangest places. Perhaps you hear a song on the radio with just the right lyric pertaining to your query, or you begin to notice uncanny billboards, license plates, or other places where repetitive numbers or words show up for you to notice. Pay attention to the animals that appear for you and connect with their symbolism. Spirit wants you to communicate and reaches out again and again. When Hawk Spirit appears, it is a sign to listen. So I will tell you this. When I started this video and opened my Zoom app to hit record, the time was 11:11. If you don't know that, that is a very powerful spiritual number. It's an angel number. It's basically your angel guides letting you know that this is the path. You're following the breadcrumbs. So I knew in that moment that I was recording at the perfect time. And that's what they're talking about. When you see repetition of numbers, when you see signs and ideas and words and concepts over and over again, there's a message in that. And just like when you're given opportunities to worry over and over and over again, there's a message in that. And the message is, it's time to take the blindfold off. It's time to empower yourself and take that low vibrational devil energy and say, thank you, but no thank you. There's a better way. Okay. That's the challenge. My husband, right now, as we speak, is in the other room doing his football draft, his fantasy football draft. He was third round, and he said, he's third round, and round one goes, round two goes, or he was third pick, I'm sorry. Pick one goes, pick two goes. And he's like, the two people that I wanted, first person picked it, second person picked it. Like the two people he really, really wanted got picked by pick one and pick two, and it weren't there for him. And then it happened again with his next pick, and then it happened again. And finally, I said to him, I said, "Hon, Spirit's telling you they've got somebody better. Instead of resisting and being angry, and like it's okay to be angry at first or frustrated at first, like, oh, that's who I wanted, but then say, ah." That anger, that negative emotion is just telling me I'm not in alignment with Spirit. I wanted to pick this pick. Spirit's got somebody better for me. And instead of resisting Spirit and saying, no, I wanted this pick, and then picking somebody else in frustration, which isn't going to benefit you, release, submit, surrender, and say, Spirit, okay, you gave these two away because there's somebody better for me. So I know it's the fantasy football draft. Who knew that Spirit wanted to be a part of that? Spirit wants to be a part of absolutely everything that brings you joy. There is nothing too minimal or inconsequential or insignificant for Spirit to be involved in. You have Spirit guides that are literally just dedicated to you for your entire lifetime, just dedicated to supporting you and helping you grow. And it's these little minute details like your fantasy football picks. That is the way, but also the big details like, you know, all of it. They want to be a part of all of it. Okay. So let spirit be your guide. Thank you so much. I love you. Peace out, everyone. Have a great week.